So,
yeah, okay.
So let me just, introduce the technology here. Let's see. Okay, we got tomorrow. Great. Welcome everybody. I'm Håkan Dennersten, working with the YMP project also. I'm here to support Torvald, who is going to speak for you. And I am running the technology behind this webinar. So there is two functions you need to be aware of. All of you are muted when you are coming into the conference. So please raise your hand. There is a little hand symbol on your on the little GoToMeeting program, which has opened for you. And there is also a little question form. The question goes to me, and if I can answer it, I write back or I interrupt Torvald during the seminar here. So, okay, we got more people in. Extremely welcome. We are supposed to be 11 people from 7 countries here. It's Mauritius, Brazil, Spain, the Philippines, etc. So it's extremely exciting. I'm sitting in a house on the field, extremely snowy field in the southern part of Sweden, in a region called Österlen in Skåne. And Torvald, over to you then.
Okay, thank you, Håkan. And welcome everyone to this little webinar. We're having this late at night in Sweden. Right now I'm in Malmö, and Malmö is a sister town to Lund, and as you all know, the YMP comes from the Lund University, so it's not far from here. It's just 20 kilometers from Malmö, where I'm at now. During this little webinar, we're gonna talk a little about the fundamentals of crowd learning. That's the method behind the YMP, and we're also going to take you through a demo of the website, just to show you some of the features that you can use as a teacher. And me, who's speaking, is Torvald Jacobsson, and I'm the director of this program. And I'm currently working at Lund University in Sweden, but we're just about to actually branch off the YMP and create an independent organization for it, because it's growing, and it has been a research project within the university for many years, but right now we have actually created a new organization for it. So we have a new foundation, the YMP Foundation, set up, and we also have a production company for the YMP. So it is really an exciting future that we're stepping into right now. This house that you see in the picture to the right is the institute, the International Institute for Industrial Environmental Economics at Lund University. In daily speak, we talk about it as the Environmental Institute of Lund University, International Environmental Institute of Lund University. And the YMP office is situated behind those twin windows on the top floor of the building you see, right beside the tower. We have a staff there. Currently we have 8 people working with the YMP, and right now everything looks completely different compared to the picture that you see. We have lots of snow in Sweden right now, and we have had blizzard for a couple of days, and there are no leaves on the trees in the picture, and there is snow everywhere. So the whole country is more or less lame-struck with snow and blizzards. So it's a completely different setting. The IEEE Institute was founded in the mid-90s, in 1994, by the Swedish government as an independent institute connected to Lund University. We have a building that is owned by us, and we have an economy that is separate from the university, but we are a part of the Lund University. And what we're doing at this institute is that we are working with sustainability solutions. That's our focus. There are lots of environmental institutes or sustainability institutes around the world that are focused on problems, and we deal with problems too, but our main focus is on sustainability solutions. We have a strong network of partner institutes around the world, and we try to benchmark sustainability solutions from different parts of the world and collect them and compare them and transfer them from one part of the world to another. We also have educational activities within the institute. We have international master programs that started also along with the institute in the mid-90s. And these master classes, they gather students from all parts of the world. We have quotas for different continents. So in every master class we have people participating from Africa, from the Americas, from the Australia and the Far East, and from Eastern Europe, Western Europe, and so on. So in every master program class you will find students from all over the world, and they also have different educational backgrounds. We have students that have been studying law, students that have been studying economy, students that comes from natural science, environmental science, students that comes from social science. So in every master program class you will also find students with really separate educational backgrounds, and in most cases that would be a problem for an institution to have students with such a diversity when it comes to cultural and educational background. But we have tried to develop methods to actually see this diversity as an advantage, and the key to do so is to evoke the possibilities for peer learning that such a diverse group brings in. So we try to mix teams within the master classes, and we work really problem-based and solution-based. So the students are studying real-life problems and they try to find solutions, and they do that in diverse groups. And the idea is, of course, that the students should try to use their different backgrounds in order to be creative and innovative and find solutions that you couldn't think of if you didn't have that variety of experience and backgrounds to draw on. We also do a lot of web-based education. We prepare our master students before they come to Lund with online sessions, and we also have online sessions in between the physical gatherings that we have in Lund. So distance learning is a integrated part of our learning strategy in the master classes that we have at the institute. And since the students are working really closely together during the course of the master programs, they also learn to know each other, and they use this international network and also the alumni network of previous classes as a tool when they step out into their professional life after the course, wherever they are in the world. And all these features of our international master programs are features that we try to introduce also into the Young Masters program that we have, which is the program that we're going to talk about today, the Young Masters program of Sustainable Development. It has been more or less a living laboratory for taking our experience to the internet and to young students all around the world. And what's exciting right now is that we have had grants during the last 2 years to actually create a new internet-based platform that is designed to do exactly the things that we want to do with the students, namely collaborative learning or crowd learning. And we haven't seen very many platforms or approaches that are similar to the one that we're working with, but we think that this is something that really could add value to any classroom around the world, and we're really excited about the future for the program right now.
Torvald, we have
Yes.
a question from India here.
Yes.
I wanted to know, how do you shortlist students for master programs in sustainability from India?
How do you
shortlist students for master programs in sustainability from India?
Is the question if it's possible to come from India and study in Lund on the university level? Then the answer is yes, it's possible, and we have had lots of students from India. Actually, we have one student from India working in our YMP staff right now. So that is a former master student at the institute. So yes, that's possible.
Okay, thanks.
So the YMP, the Young Masters Program on Sustainable Development, that is a free and open internet education. So it doesn't cost anything. We don't charge any fees to schools, teachers, or students that wants to participate. It is funded elsewhere. We do not ask our students or teachers or schools for any fees. So what it takes to start the YMP is basically one teacher and a group of 3 to 5 students. That is the smallest unit you need to step into a global virtual classroom and start using this tool. A teacher could register just one group, or a teacher could decide to register the whole class. It's up to him or her. And we have examples of teachers with just one group, and we have also teachers that have lots of groups. So that is up to the teacher. There is really no limit to the number of student groups that one teacher could have, but you need to have at least one if you want to try this out. It is open to students and teachers, so you can register as a teacher and then invite students, or you could register as a student and then invite a teacher. But you don't need to have any confirmation or approval from your school. That could come later. Typically we have a teacher that is really into sustainability at a school somewhere, and he or she finds a number of students and they try this out, and then eventually we have more and more teachers and students coming in from that school. Most of the activities in the YMP takes place offline, so even if it's a distance education, we have lots of activities taking place offline. Most of the learning time actually is offline. And that's special with this program. But it's also a really important feature of the program. I will tell you more about this later. You present and disseminate your learning activities and findings in one of the virtual global classrooms that we have. And these classrooms, they are created as groups are coming in. The system is constantly trying to find the perfect mix of students from the pool of student groups that we have registered. And once it's possible to create a global classroom, the system is doing that. And global classrooms are started every Monday. And as a teacher, you set a date for the group that you have created when you want it to start. And I will show you more about this later. We have a very sophisticated system for interaction and feedback on this platform. Feedback is given by student groups to other student groups, by teachers to other student groups than the ones that they have registered, from our staff. We are also providing feedback to the groups, and from alumni students that also have the possibility to stay in the program and provide feedback to student groups. Once you have fulfilled all the learning activities in the program, you have the possibility to print out your personal YMP diploma, and you can also follow the progress of that diploma during the course of the education. It is interactive, so everything you do, all the assignments you fulfill, show up on your interactive diploma as you go along. And once you have done the basic course, or more preferably if you have also done a project work, you are eligible for scholarships, awards, participation in our follow-up courses that are to be developed, and you can be invited to attend our conventions and partner events and other conferences and international meetings. For instance, during this year, we have had YMP groups taking part in the UN Rio conference on the environment, and also in the Stockholm Plus 40 conference that was a preparatory conference for the Rio conference here in Sweden. And we get a lot of invitations because there are quite a few international conferences that want young people to participate in panels and so on, and they are looking for grassroots students that are working on a grassroots level, and that's exactly what we have. So if you fulfill this program, there are lots of possibilities, and if you publish a really good project work, there are lots of possibilities for you to participate in international gatherings and conferences like this, the ones that I mentioned before.
Torvald?
Yes?
We have our Indian friend want to speak, so I'm putting him in online now.
Yes.
Krishna, I'm sorry, it's hard for me to say. What's your name exactly?
Yeah, I am Krishnanand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Please, you're here. Yeah.
Yeah, the question is, see, right now I'm having one student, and that is my daughter. She's pursuing her engineering, bachelor in engineering, environmental. Okay, from the environmental section, and she has joined this YMP as a student, and she has enrolled me as a teacher. I'm in this HSC field. Yeah, I'm in this HSC field, that is health, safety, and environment, for the last 25 years now. And our organization is also moving towards sustainability reporting as per the G3 plus guidelines. Okay, I have attended a seminar on G4 guidelines, which will be pursued in the future by this It's on sustainability reporting. This one, okay, India. Now I wanted to know how to attract, how to get more students, and also how to prepare myself to be a good teacher.
Yeah. In India, we are working together with a partner organization, CE, that they have their head office in Ahmedabad in northwestern India. And they are running a program, I guess you know about it, called Paravaram Nitra, which is a quite big program, reaching out to some 200,000 schools around India. And I just came back from India. I was there last week, and we had started a pilot project with secondary high schools in India. So we have big plans for India, actually. So we will reach out through the CEE to lots of schools around India, and we have also been in touch with the Central Board for Secondary Education and different ministries in India. So I think in India we have good possibilities to reach out to very many secondary high schools around the country. So that is an answer to one part of your question, considering the plans for India. And when it comes to what you can do in order to prepare to be a good YMP teacher, we will touch upon that later during this presentation when we step into the platform. I will show you some of the teacher tools that we have there, and if you use them, I think you will find that they are really helpful.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Okay. Torvald, we have one more question here from Özge. So,
Yes.
Özge, you should be online now.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to ask about the conferences that we can join. Will it be announced through the YMP website, or is it just that when our students get their diplomas, can they apply to any conference to join them? For example, in the past years, I guess Global Environmental Youth Convention was held, and YMP students had joined them. If I'm wrong, correct me. I'm sorry, but as you said, last year in Stockholm there was a conference too, but we missed that. But we would really like to join to the conferences after we have completed this program, and I don't know this procedure too well. Is it possible that if you could tell a little bit more about it?
Yeah. We actually had one student from Turkey participating in at the Stockholm Plus 40 conference, but that was just one.
It was not one of my students.
It was not one of your students. I'm sorry, but well, it is a bit. It is different depending on the occasion, but we have also the conventions that we arrange on our own. We have had 4 of those during the past years. Then, of course, we are selecting students based on their efforts within our own program. When it comes to the invitations we get from the UN and other arrangers of international conferences, they many times they have rather specific demands. They are looking for students from a certain country, from a certain background, students that have done project work within a certain theme or something like that. And then we try to find a number of students that fit with the criteria, and we reach out to them and we ask them to give a little presentation to give some reasons for us to choose them So, but we select the students that we invite for the international conferences that we don't arrange on our own. So it's a bit different, but we always communicate back to the website the experiences of the students. And for instance, at Stockholm Plus 40, we had our students from Canada and from Turkey and from Sweden and all these countries to Argentina. We also had students from to write blogs and small diaries from the conference to share their experience with the other students on the YMP program. I think over the years to come, the recognition of the Young Masters program is going to grow. We have recently been selected as one out of 4 role model programs for UNESCO, which is the UN's body for education and culture. Yeah. And that means that we will get more invitations. We already are invited to participate in UNESCO's conference on education for sustainable development in Nagoya in Japan in 2014, for instance. So there will be more occasions, and hopefully your students will be among the ones that are selected for and invited to one or many of these occasions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So the screen that you see here is what it looks like when you are doing the course as a student. So here you can see the course window, and there is a text here, and you can step through the text with using these cursors. We are right now on page 12 out of 16. And at the end of the text, you find your learning activity or your assignment, and that is typically taking place offline. When we talk about sustainability challenges, as we do in the beginning of the course, we typically ask the students to find out what these challenges look like in their local environment. And we do the same thing when we come to the solutions, that we ask them to find out about solutions, if they are used or if they are not used in their local environment. Then you post your assignment, and the final step is to verify your report. You do the posting stepwise, and when in the verify part of the assignment, you see the whole report or the whole assignment compiled as one report, and then you verify it on behalf of your student group. And that once it's posted, you cannot change it, because then it's going into the feedback and the grading system, and you can always comment and discuss the grading and the feedback, but you cannot really change your assignment. You have to wait until the next assignment to improve your results if you want to do that. Now, some of the other features that you see here is there is a map, and in this case it's just the view of one student, so you only see that this student is from Poland, Gdansk in Poland. But if you move into the classroom view, the map will show you all the groups that are currently working in this global classroom. And in this case, you have one group from Africa here, one group from China, several groups from around Europe, and 2 groups from the Americas. So, and you have a selection of random members up here, and you have some statistics about the classroom. You also find the classroom schedule down here. And these are small miniature pictures of the learning missions that the students are doing, and you also find the date on the top of that learning activity when you're supposed to have finished that learning activity if you want to be on schedule. as you can see here in the student view, you can also see your progress through the program, and you can see if you're on time or behind the schedule for that classroom. Every classroom has an individual schedule that is created when the classroom starts. But most of the activities actually look like this. Here you have a couple of YMP student groups that are sitting together with their teachers in the outdoors somewhere in southern China. And this is actually the major part of the YMP learning activities. Teachers talking to the local students, and typically also outside the school, because they are doing their research. And this is a core feature of the YMP method, that we always want to have every student should at all occasions have a unique story to bring into the global classroom and to bring back from the global classroom into the local classroom. So when you form your local classroom here and you step into the global classroom, you might be the only group from Turkey, meaning that your voice is really needed for the experience here in the global classroom. And when you come back to your local classroom in Turkey or in India, since all of your groups that you have as a local teacher are put in different global classrooms, they will not have the same experience from the feedback session and the activities that are taking place in the global classroom. And it's a good opportunity for you as a local teacher to compare the feedback and the discussions that all your groups have had in their different global classrooms. And as you progress through the course, you're facing more and more complex assignments. So if you start with your own personal daily life and how it's connected to the environment, at the end of the course you are dealing with things like international negotiations on the climate and stakeholders in society and so on, more complex things. So there is an interaction between offline activities and online activities, and a growing complexity as you progress through the course. This is what it looks like in a local classroom anywhere in the world. You have a teacher and you have a number of students, and you try to bring over the message, and you hope that your students will grasp it. And if they don't do that, you can interact with them personally and try to bring the message over. If we compare this with a typical e-learning situation, the student is alone typically, and the teacher is behind the screen. So compared to this situation, of course, you have much smaller possibilities to interact with the student and have quality feedback. And you can try to compensate for that with technological fixes like video chats and other features. But then, of course, you are also dependent on the quality of your equipment and the bandwidth in the local setting where the student is at. So in this situation, you have a possibility to have really deep learning and interaction between the teacher and the student. That is more difficult to approach in this situation. But on the other hand, in this situation, you are limited to the local classroom and the fact that you are all from the same place. So the world is not really present in this setting. Compared to this setting, it's possible to reach out to the world, but on the other hand, you're really you have some really major drawbacks when it comes to the interactivity. And this is the conflict that we have tried to deal with in the YMP. And what we try to do is to take the students out of this local environment and give some perspectives on their local circumstances by stepping into a global classroom where students from all around the world are gathering with their backgrounds present in the global classroom, but they are given the same assignment, and then they step out again to the local environment with the same assignment, and when they come back they have different perspectives on the same issue. It might be problems or it might be sustainability solutions, but they can compare notes and they learn a lot about how the world works. And these are things that are really hard to bring over through a textbook, because all these assignments and all these experiences are eyewitness stories from students that are the same age as you, that have done the same assignment that you have done, but somewhere else. And the differences and also the similarities are really interesting to discuss for the students and the teachers. So that is what we try to bring into your local classroom. That is an open window to the rest of the world. And of course, this method is generic. We are using it for sustainable development, but it is crowd learning in meaning that all the experiences and all the stories that the students are bringing into this global classroom is something that is really hard to achieve through any other method than crowd learning. So the students are comparing their results, and these green students that you have here, they might be from Turkey or from India. They're comparing the perspective from this yellow group from Indonesia, and they realize that it's something really different from what it looks like at home. And it's not only peer-to-peer sharing experience, it's also competition, because the quality of the assignments are constantly compared, and the students wants to be better. Every assignment should be better than the last one, and they want their assignments and their project works to be better than the other groups in the classroom. So it's also competition, it's a game, so to say, and we try to use some features from computer games when it comes to a credit system and award system to really make this visible in the global classroom.
Torvald,
And yes,
sorry to break in, but we have a question from Sweden here.
Yes.
How much time does this course demand, and what course do Swedish high school teachers use it in?
Yeah, that's a good question, because it is a transdisciplinary course. So it bridges over a lot of different subjects within the curriculum, and that is a problem and a possibility. Usually when you start, it is a problem, actually, to be frank, because you cannot really squeeze it in to English or into biology or into social science. It is a little bit of all of these subjects, and also geography and environmental awareness, if that is a subject in your school. So we have estimated that a student group needs to have at least 3 hours a week to fulfill a mission, and we have 27 missions, meaning that 27 weeks, 3 hours a week. That is the estimate for what the time that you need to set aside to do this. And most of our students do this on the side of their regular schoolwork, just in order to get this diploma, they could use the diploma when they apply for higher studies in many countries. And also the opportunities that you get through the program. You have an international network, and you have awareness about sustainability. You have done a project work that could be used for, in most secondary schools around the world, you actually are asked to do a project work, and we have an infrastructure that helps you to do it. So, but in many countries, and this question came from Sweden, we have, for instance, a lot of students and teachers in southern Sweden, in Lund. The teachers that have been using this for a couple of years, they have gathered in their local community here in Lund, and they have written a local course plan based on the YMP that connects to the curriculum for a lot of subjects that the students are taking within their regular schoolwork. So if you do the YMP at Spiken in Lund, for instance, you will get formal credits for taking the course, because there is a course plan that connects to the local curriculum. And that has been done also in other countries. We have examples from Lebanon, from Mexico, and other countries around the world. So the teachers, they know their local curriculum, and they could actually see how this course fits in with that curriculum, and they could do the adaptation or the interface between the YMP and the local curriculum. And we are planning to gather some of this experience and actually provide guidelines for teachers how to do this, because we think it's a very good possibility, and would also make it possible for much more students to take the YMP and use it, and not see it as something that stands between them and their final exams, but actually helps them to reach their final exams. If I step out of the question and continue the presentation, I can say that this is what you get as a final result in your local classroom. You get perspectives from all over the world, and not only the local perspective when you're discussing global sustainability. And that is one thing. So you have this window and to the world, and all these perspectives that are coming in, that are really, really hard to bring over through any other ways or means to your local classroom. But you also do things, especially if you do things that really could be life changers for your students, especially if they are stepping into the project work part of the education. You have the possibility to get your diploma after the basic fulfillment of the basic course, the 27 missions I mentioned, but you can also continue and do a project work, and you have 2 months to complete that project work. And these project works, they are great. There the students have the possibility to use all the tools that they have learned to use during the YMP, and deploy them for a sustainability project of their own. And these projects, they are graded depending on to what extent they are contributing to sustainable development in their local society, and if they are connecting to local stakeholders and so on. So we have lots of these YMP projects from all over the world, and you can find them in the project gallery on the website, and they are really exciting. They are examples of social entrepreneurship, innovations sometimes, and also exchange programs, as the 3 examples that you see here. So the core strategies of the YMP is, of course, education and learning, but also connecting students all around the world and provide a framework for action, learning through doing and getting instant feedback on your actions, and also connecting countries and cultures around the world to get that common understanding on sustainability that is really necessary in order to be successful in the future. Another thing that is important to mention is that the YMP, even if it looks like a social network, it is functioning in a completely different way if we compare it with Facebook, for instance, and many other services that you have on the internet today, where these services are striving to be more and more personalized, and that is a good thing in many ways, but it's also creating something that you call the filter bubble, that these services, they try to filter out all the things that are not interesting to you. And if you, for instance, read a book on Amazon, buy a book on Amazon will instantly try to find other books that are similar and suggest them as further reading for you. And the same thing goes with Facebook, that you collect your friends that you already have, and you get a news feed that is really filtered through a number of persons that have lots of things in common with you. And that's a good thing in many ways, but it's also narrowing your perspective. And the YMP tries to do something completely different, and I think that is of growing importance in the internet world as it is developing today. We try to break this bubble. We try to bring in perspectives from people that you wouldn't get in touch with if you hadn't been a part of the YMP. Students from countries that you have no connection with, perspectives that you never heard of, in order to widen your horizon. And I think this is something that is really important when we see in what direction most of the development on the internet is going today. We need also to find ways to break this filter bubble, and because learning is basically about changing perspectives and see things from another angle. And social networks and search engines and lots of the tools that we are using on the internet today are striving in the totally opposite direction. They try to make things more and more adapted to the things that you already know and believe. And that is a major problem for learning and also using the internet for learning. And that is something that we really acknowledge and try to deal with. Yeah, I think we have mentioned most of this. What I want to do now, if we don't have any more questions, what I want to do now is to step into the platform and have a look at that. So I'm going to do like this. I'm going to move into this mode. Yeah. What I'm going to do now is that I'm going to sign in as a Chinese teacher on this demo version of the platform. To show you what it looks like once you have been approved as a YMP teacher. And this demo version is possible to use also for you. If you like, you could send us an email after this presentation, after this webinar, and we can send you the credentials you need to use this demo platform and try out all the features that I'm going to show you. This is what it looks like when you have your student groups formed and inside the YMP. You will see all your student groups in a list here. This Chinese teacher has only one group placed in a classroom called Dendrotrix, and you can follow your groups, monitor your groups very closely in this student group view. You can see if they are on schedule or behind. You can see the recent stories that they have published, and you can also send personal messages and interact with your students if you like to do that. If you go to the classroom where this student group is working, you can see all the other groups that are working in this classroom, and you can see all the recent things that have been posted in the classroom in a long log here. And of course, this is very similar to social networks as Facebook, for instance, but the difference is, of course, that here people are interacting without knowing each other. This is a breakout from the filter bubble. So you're discussing and interacting with people that you don't know. It is very similar to starting a new class where you have classmates that you didn't know before you started, but these classmates are from all around the world. What I want to highlight here is the menu teacher tools that you find up here. Here you find a number of things that are really helpful for you as a YMP teacher. You find teacher guides for all the learning missions through the whole course, and you find small videos that shows you how you can invite a student to the program, how you create a student group, how you add a co-teacher to your group, how you add a student to a group, and how you remove a student, and how you request a new start date, and so on and so forth. Very many of these videos taken together will give you most of the instructions you need to do the reoccurring things that you have to do as a YMP teacher. And they are really straightforward. So for instance, if you want to know how to add a student to a student group, you just start the video and it will show you exactly how you do this. So, and you can have a look at these videos on your own, on the demo platform or on the live platform if you're registered. You go to the little wheel icon and you select Add a Student option in the menu. And then you will see a pop-up window where you see your available students that don't have a group, and you just drag and drop that student into a free slot in your student group and you submit it, and then the student is a part of that group. So it's really straightforward, it's very easy, and most of the administration of your groups are simple as the one as this example. So it's really easy to do that. The teacher guides are also helpful. If we take a look at one of these teacher guides, it is a background material that you can use as a teacher, showing the learning outcomes and the purpose of the mission and what it's all about and what we are asking for when it comes to the group assignment, and also some additional web resources that you can use to give further information to your students and add value to their learning experience. So you have one of these descriptions and guides for each and every one of the learning missions in the course. If we have a look at the other icons here, for instance, you can see your awards. Teachers also get awards for instance, if you have if you have friends from 10 different countries, you will get the Globetrotter Award. That has not been achieved by our Chinese teacher here, but if she has 10 international friends, she will have that award. And all the awards and all the things that you do on the platform are possible to share to your social networks. So, and this is actually a flaw here on the demo platform, because since we have a Chinese teacher here, it wouldn't be possible for her to share to Facebook, for instance, because it's blocked in China. But she would see 130 Chinese social networks that she could share to. But basically you just hit this button and then you log in with your Facebook ID, and then you can publish your achievements in the course directly to your social network. And we really ask you to use this feature, because it is a way to spread the word about what's going on in the YMP. So we have a different setup of social networks depending on what IP number you're logging in from. So it's adapted to the social networks that are most frequent in China or in India or in Sweden or in Indonesia. So that's a nice feature, and you also have the possibility to comment on anything that happens here, anything that is published, and you can, if someone has published an assignment and received gradings of it, you can always view the assignment and see the small stories from different parts of the world at any time in the classroom view, and that's really an exciting experience for teachers and students. For teachers, you always have the possibility to give feedback to other groups, and what you have to do then is to go to the missions view and start the feedback mission, and then you will be presented to an assignment. You can view the assignment here, and you read that through, and then you provide your grading and your comments, and you have to do this within 24 hours. So the feedback mission runs on time. So that is how the feedback mission is working. Another feature that we have that could be good to know is that the whole platform is prepared for translation with Google Translate. So if you use Google Translate, the whole platform turns into your native language. For instance, in this case, we switched to Chinese, and it's everything, including buttons and everything, goes to, I admit, rather crappy Chinese, but still Chinese. So this is a big help for students and teachers if they don't understand English. You can have a translation of the whole platform if you need that. Are there any questions, Håkan?
No, not anyone, actually.
Okay.
So
good. Because we could show lots of other things also on the platform, but we are running out of time. So I think for this webinar, this would be everything that we wanted to show.
Torvald, our Indian friend raised his hand, so I'm putting it online.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll just ask the last question, if you permit me.
Yes.
The question is, in fact, I registered as a teacher, and since I'm very busy with my project work at the office, so I want to give a fresh date, and it shall start from 1st of Jan, because I'll be free by that time.
Yeah.
So can I do it? Can I do that?
Yes, you can. You said yes, you can. So if you
Hello.
Yeah. I'm just going to show you here. If you once you're recognized as a teacher, if you go to Teacher Tools, there is actually a
Yeah.
video here showing exactly how to set a date for a student group. So I will just show you this video. How to request a new start date for a student group. You can
Okay, fine. I can see that.
yeah, so you can see it for yourself here, but it is an instructional video for exactly the question that you asked right now. So I think we will add videos here and based on the questions that we get from teachers, but for exactly the thing that you asked, there is a specific video for that.
Yeah, my second question is, hello.
Yes.
What should be the age group of the what is the age group of the students you are looking at, like basically?
Yeah, typically the YMP students right now, they are in secondary high school. They are between 16 and 18 years old. But we are not that strict. So we have students that are older and younger. It depends on if you think that they could manage to do this. It's really up to you as a teacher to judge. So if you think that your students have the capacity to fulfill the course, we are willing to stretch the limits a bit and accept the students. But our target group for the course as it is today is students age 16 to 18 years old.
Okay. And my final question is, now this diploma certificate of young masters program, how
Yes.
useful it is in securing admissions to the universities in Lund or something like that, for example?
Yeah. That's a tricky one. That's a tricky question to answer because the diploma, if we take a look at the diploma, there is a little description of the diploma here. You can find it on the website. What it's stating is basically that this student has taken this course that has been developed at Lund University. We have all the logos and the signatures there, and there is a possibility also for the university where you apply to track back this diploma to us, and we can confirm that this student really fulfilled the course at the YMP. But the diploma carries no formal credits, so it's just an add-on to your CV when you apply to higher studies. But it does actually have a function. We have seen that in China, that very many of our Chinese students, they use this diploma, and it is recognized by universities because it is telling the university that the student has a drive to fulfill a course on the side of their regular studies. It also shows that the student has an international network at an early age. It shows that the student has been able to study sustainability and in an online program that is also recognized by us and developed by Lund University. So it has a value, but how much value it has is of course different between different universities. So, but we can tell by the interest from the students and that they are really asking for the diploma, and they print it out and they use it, and they are striving for high grades also. All these are telling tales, showing us that the diplomas are used and recognized by universities.
Thanks. Thank you for the answer.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
If there are no further questions, I think I finished the presentation here, Håkan, and leave the floor to you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. you can expect at least on Monday that this presentation is on our website. And please don't hesitate to email us or about whatever. We are here to assist you. So thank you for today and have a good evening, everybody.